I mean, yeah, plenty for sure too. And it just goes sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. So let's go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and kick it off. I guess we can wait a few minutes if you want for some people to pop in, or we can just go ahead and run it and they can watch it.
Yeah, I mean, even if you just wanted to ask anything, like even like just anything, just like even just to get any kind of info, like right now, like you just
Okay, tell us a little bit about yourself.
like at this point, like I don't know how old I am. I think I'm 44, and the whole voice thing, it sounds like I lost it. I think I'm prepping for old age. So like I'm already sounding like an old man. But the voice thing is trippy because that happened like maybe 10 or 15 years ago. Like I had like some neurological disorder. They said the doctors or something. So I guess like the throat is like perfectly healthy inside and out. It's just somewhere in the brain it's not connecting to.
So it's affecting your voice box or something like.
No, not the voice box. It's just affecting like one side of the throat, like the muscles. So one side isn't moving. It's like they thought it was paralyzed. But if I focus on like one sound and just like and think about it hard, then I could use that muscle and project sound pretty loud.
Uh,
It's really bizarre. I think it's all that like aqua flow that I've been breathing all these years.
oh yeah, yeah. I believe I feel you on that. So where are you from?
Well, I grew up in Compton, of all places. With this voice, doesn't sound like it, but definitely grew up in Compton.
Uh, I had a homeboy from the military was from Compton.
Yeah, I don't know. And Compton, I don't know how it is now. I'm sure it's still crazy, but back in the 90s, 80s, and 90s, yeah, Compton was definitely a crazy place.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody wants to test everybody. You know how like you see like in YouTube videos where somebody's trying to like prank somebody and like in the hood, and 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 people were giving them a chance to like kind of like hey, just walk on off, just walk on off, and they keep antagonizing them, and they're like, hey, just walk off or there's gonna be trouble. Compton, they don't give you no warning. There's no like what, there's no like walk off. They'll be like, oh, you want to start some shit? Immediately it just starts like there's shit happening immediately. They don't say like, hey, you
They
should walk off.
you don't get no warning. Huh? It's just straight to.
No, it's just a battle immediately. So when I see all this, I don't know if it's like that now, but I know back then everybody wanted to test everybody, and it was on every second of the day.
You know how everybody pretty much got after watching Boys in the Hood, everybody wanted to thought about all that.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah, I guess so. Yeah, Boys
Yeah.
in the Hood is dope. That was a good movie. It was crazy to watch because I'm like, yeah, that's how it is here. But
um, any social media networks you want to promote?
I mean, anything I put out, I always try to put it at Art of Daniel Esparza. So if it's Facebook, Art of Daniel Esparza, Instagram is Art of Daniel Esparza. Pretty much everything I put out there is just that's what I put it as.
Okay, okay. You have anything coming up you want to bring up?
Um, right now, like I mean, for the longest time, I was doing those. Well, back then, I was doing those Day of the Dead pieces, and I put so much time and effort into making them super realistic, and was doing like a series, doing them every year. Well, every month or 2 months, I was putting something out, but and it was during a time where it was doing good, it was doing decent, but it wasn't like really paying the bills. But and also a lot of people thought they were Photoshop.
The De los Muertos things you was painting?
Hmm?
The De los Muertos paintings?
Yeah, yeah. Those, yeah. A lot of people thought those were like photoshopped. So like, they felt weird buying they felt weird like purchasing a print of something they thought was photoshopped. But I'm like, no, man, I painted every single one of those from scratch. And everybody's like, no. I even had an airbrush artist walk up to, I brought an original, one of them, the originals, to the booth at this event. And this guy comes up, he's like, you didn't paint that. I'm like, well, that's the original right there. He's like, man, I've been airbrushing myself for 15 years. I know that's a print, that's Photoshop. I'm like, that's the original. And he's like, can I walk up to it and check it out myself? I'm like, of course, come check it out. He walks up to it, looks at it up close. I'm like, when you're up close, you can definitely see it's painted. And he looked at it up close, and he shook my hand. He was like, hey, that is crazy. This is the original. Like, he was like, that's crazy.
You did what? Don't you have I thought, because I was kind of looking through your stuff, and it
Yeah.
was, did you have like a step-by-step on one of them?
Um, like on Facebook, I do like before, before I knew like anything about editing, doing time lapse and all that stuff. Like I would just like take photos of like the steps. But it's better for people to see like a time, like especially if you're doing that much work, it's better to do like a time lapse so that they can see the process get done from scratch to finish without like, because I'm not gonna like I'm not gonna stop the time lapse and then like continue like after more gets done, all of it gets recorded. So I think that's better. If I would have done that before, it would have been better.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah.
When
And
did you learn about airbrushing?
check that guy out. That's just my tortoise. I don't know if you saw him. But yeah, I learned how to airbrush. Let me see. Oh, you know what's crazy is that I learned how to airbrush without even knowing how to airbrush. There was a job that needed airbrush artists, and a friend of mine worked there right out of high school. He was like, "Hey, come work with us." I'm like, he was like, "We airbrush." And so it was right after high school, so I was like maybe 18 or something. And I was like, all right, yeah, I'm ready to work after high school. Sure, let's try this out. But what's an airbrush? I mean, I've seen it before. I just I've never used it. And so they're like, oh, we'll worry about that later. You can start on these orders right here. And I'm like, wait, no, wait. What? I don't even know what this is. And yeah, you'll figure it out. Just start. I'm like, can I practice first and then start on the orders? I don't want to start on something that somebody paid for. I don't know what I'm doing. Can somebody explain it? They're like, we don't have time for that. Just start. I'm like, this is some weird shit. I'm like, well, you got to be kidding me. There's no way. But I did. I just started, and everything looked like shit. I mean, because I was guessing. I didn't know that if you pull down the trigger and you pull back, that it starts off thin and then it opens it up more as you pull it back further. So I didn't know it did that. I thought it was a trigger to open it up and just paint comes out. And so I was just guessing on like how to color and it was a mess. And they still turned it in and people still took it. And I'm thinking like, why the fuck did they take that? That I destroyed that. But after about 2 weeks, I started like seeing like, oh, so you pull back and it's like almost right as thin as a pencil, and then you just pull back further. And yet, just nobody wanted to explain. They were just like,
Just threw you out there.
they were for 2 weeks. I'm just guessing, but everybody's telling me I'm doing a good job. But I'm like, no, I'm not. I know what a good job is. This is terrible. I'm just surprised that everybody's in on this, even the customers. Like, well, yeah, this is great. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with everybody? What happened? But
And so if you look at the screen, You can see some people. I'll throw the people that's viewing. I'll throw their questions up there.
Oh, okay. Let
So
me
Ed
see.
said, "Did you learn the dagger stroke?"
Did I learn the dagger stroke? I had to pick that up. Like, well, people started showing me that once I started. Let's, because this was like a banner company that wanted help, and they didn't teach me anything, but they just wanted me to just start painting, even if I'm guessing. But once I went further and started, people were asking me if I wanted to help them in their shop. Yeah, to do letters, they were like to do script and all that stuff. They for sure wanted me to get used to dagger strokes, and it's important because it just kind of helps even out each of the letters too when you're doing that dagger stroke, like, and you're doing cursive. It kind of helps keep everything balanced, not just so much for the look of the dagger, that dagger look, not so much for that, but I mean, it does multiple things. But the dagger stroke also keeps like the letters like really like smooth and like straight, almost like a vector sort of like look.
Yeah, yeah. Was the first one you went? Was that what was that? Banner USA or is it
Yep, yeah, yeah,
Banner USA?
yep. Painters USA. That they had about 20 artists there at Painters USA, and they were people from all over the country, and
I
so
remember that. I remember that.
yeah, and but at first, and a lot of people don't know this, but the first the one right out of high school was called Action Art.
Oh yeah, I remember them too.
Yeah, and do you know the artist that's really big? He's a big famous artist. His name is Michael Goddard, who does the olives and the
The
martini.
olives, yeah, I've seen those in Vegas.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that guy, he's a very successful artist, and that first banner company called Action Art, that was the one that I went to right after high school that the friend invited me to. You would never believe that that's who the company was. It was his company, Michael Goddard's, him and his wife, ex-wife now, of course. But after they got a divorce, and he was left with like nothing because she took everything, even the business. Um, from there, he just was out of like he was living out of his like car or something. And years later, we just see like the name Michael Goddard, and then we see his picture, and we're like, "Oh shit! Like what happened?" So all this time that he was gone, and then when he reappeared, he was like this famous like olive painter guy.
I remember seeing those paintings when I went to Vegas.
Yeah,
Those
yeah, yeah.
kind of
And that artist, that's who the company was from, was that Action Art banner company that was Michael Goddard's. And after we left Action Art, that's when we went to Banners USA.
uh, did you ever open your own shop up?
What's up?
Did you ever open up your own shop? When did you open up your own shop?
I've never opened up my own shop. It's just I'm not like business savvy in that way, and so like I got my highest education in Compton. I mean, I moved out like middle mid Compton, like I mean mid like high school. Went to Riverside and then got the rest of everything there. But as soon as I moved out and went to Riverside, I was a B student in Compton. And as soon as I moved out and went to Riverside, I got straight Fs, and I was like, damn, what happened there? And they were just like, well, you're not doing any of your work. I'm like, yeah, but what the hell? Like, this isn't fair. I'm like, I'm like, and so I did graduate on time because at that moment I was like, I don't want to fail. So I pushed a little bit harder. I had an art teacher that kind of egged me on to like try harder because he showed me what can happen if you graduate on time. And so I had a lot of I do have a lot of family members that never graduated, and so I was ready to just kind of like be the next one in line that doesn't. But the art teacher was like, and this was in Riverside. He was like, "No, you need to graduate on time. Take all the summer schools and make sure you don't fail any more classes." But yeah, so because of that upbringing in Compton, I did not do my work in Compton, but they still gave me a passing grade, a B, a B, a B, everybody. And it was because that's how I grew up. I didn't know that this wasn't normal. I'm sure you could watch TV and everything, but in real life, if that's how you're treated, you're thinking like, oh yeah, this is how it
This is
is.
how
You
it's
know,
supposed to be. Yeah, that's how it is.
exactly, yeah. And when I moved and I got straight F's, I'm like, shit. And so, yeah, I graduated on time. I went to all the, summer schools and tried really hard and didn't fail anymore. But they still, like, even though I graduated, like, there's so many things that I'm just, like, new to because I'm like, well, shit, I didn't grow up, like learning anything but art. Art was just to keep out of trouble. When I was in Compton, I would draw in school, draw at home, because my parents too were like pretty abusive at the time. And so I was just like, man, I'm just gonna stay to myself and just draw, draw, draw. It feels good when I draw. I can draw, and I'm just gonna like stay out of everybody's business. But yeah, it was. I didn't think that I would ever put it to use, or like it was ever gonna be anything for work, but it did.
Yeah, that's a good thing. That's pretty much like how I grew up. Like trying to, it's all the negativity around you, but you had artwork to take you away
Yeah,
from it.
yeah.
Hey, somebody, Eric Holloway asked, how many guns do you run in your setup?
I mean, I try to keep at least 10. I mean, more is better. You could do less. It's fine, but I feel like if you have like, let's say you have a red and you have a maroon. I mean, you could just easily switch the bottles to the maroon from the regular red to the maroon, switch it back and forth. Some people have a gun for every single color, and
Yeah,
sometimes I'm just like, that's great. I mean, if you could afford it, that's great. But even if you could afford it, but you choose not to, it really isn't too crazy necessary. But 10, I would say you can flow pretty good with everything. You're not losing time by switching a bottle that's already kind of the same color.
you do you run quick connects or you run 10 hoses?
Man, I run quick connects, but man, like I forget what they're called, but there's another brand called like Gildan, I think. I don't know what it is, but man, as much as I've airbrushed all these years, man, stay away from those Iwata quick connects, man. Those things go bad every. Well, it's unpredictable. You could just get it right out of the pack, and it'll go bad in like 10 minutes, or it'll go bad in 2 weeks. I don't think they even go past two weeks. Like what the hell?
Yeah, that'll mess you up,
Freaking
especially in
Christ.
the middle of a gig.
Man, their name is so popular. So I think they do this on purpose, and they don't care. They know that people know the name, and they're gonna keep buying this stuff. And good for them. They got a business that works. But fuck,
Yeah,
it's annoying.
that's what you run. You run out waters.
Yeah, the guns, but the quick disconnects. The definitely, I try to find anything else other than Iwata for that.
I think he froze on us.
Not longer. Doesn't matter how cheap or more expensive. It's just any other brand is better.
Yeah, yeah. Do uh have you always run? What's your favorite? What's your favorite medium? Do you? Wait a minute. So how
they're,
many?
they're already planning like I'm gonna fuck this dude up, taking away our business, like
Oh yeah,
talking shit about
for
our
talking about.
quick
I'm pretty
connects.
sure everybody know, man. I ordered some
Yeah,
off of Amazon and I haven't had no problems with them. You starting to glitch on me.
oh, I see. Yeah,
You starting to glitch.
you're good. Yeah, no, I see it. It's good. It's still good on my end.
Okay. So Ed said, how do you keep your airbrushes flowing consistent?
Um, how do I keep the airbrushes consistent as far as like how they spray?
Yeah, I guess cleaning.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What's really important is keep them on the. I always keep them on bottles. Like I rarely take them off. The way that I have the bottles just like held up, I leave the guns on the bottles. And if I'm gonna keep the guns, like let's say I do keep a bottle on the extra instead of using like the cleaners that's sold by the brand too. I don't necessarily ever mess with those. I always just get a bottle of acetone and just like, of course, make sure you have like air or or spray it outside or into something. But acetone will wash away whatever mucus it has stuck in that damn nozzle. Like anything, it just like completely breaks it apart and just shoots it off, and you have a brand new gun without even having it like back it up or do too much. If it start because once you're spraying for a long time, like the paint that's in the nozzle, even though it's wet, you know, over over time, it does kind of like settle, and you're spraying air through it so often that it tends to thicken up. And so once it starts doing that, just spray some acetone through that gun, and it shoots everything out, and you're back to normal.
Um, is there where you at? Is there a lot of artists around you? A lot of competition, or is like
Like
nobody
like
competition?
like in Vegas, or just like where I was
Oh
from.
yes, probably a couple of y'all in Vegas. There's a lot of y'all in Vegas.
Yeah, yeah. No, there's a
Yeah.
bunch of people out here, and
You
yeah, I would say there's like even a place called Airbrush Las Vegas. I worked there for a little bit too. Airbrush Las Vegas, and
that's
there's
Jonathan, right?
yeah, yeah, oh yeah, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was at the Circus. It's not there anymore. It's been he had that shop there for so many years, but just this last year they took it down.
Uh, yeah, I was over there when I seen a Chino there when I used to come hang out with Chino
Yeah,
from
Chino's
Chino.
cool.
Yeah.
Man, you're able to hang out with Chino.
Yeah.
Man,
Not that much anymore though. That was back then.
yeah, he's a buddy of mine too. But I didn't know that he knew how to chill. He's just business.
Especially now since he probably got the paint now. He really got to move around.
Yeah, you try to like chill and talk, and he's like ready to start talking about business again. I'm like, damn, like you live on business.
uh, um, do you collab a lot with other artists? I think I just saw you with Nate. Huh?
Yeah, Nate. Yeah, Nate. We just did an event at a convention. The conventions they want us to like airbrush anything quick, just like hats, hoodies, anything that's used to like give away to bring in an audience of people towards like a booth that they're trying to like promote themselves, but they need an audience. So like we're there just to paint like for free for them. I mean, they pay us like ahead of time for the event, and then like all the stuff is already paid for from the company, and that way people can just walk up, order whatever, and they don't pay anything.
Yeah, yeah. Y'all was doing some elaborate stuff though. Was those wasn't no quick designs, man.
Yeah, well, this is the first time ever that because I like to do stuff like this. If I could do stuff like this all the time, that would be great because this was the first time that somebody said the one who hired us was Airbrush Brothers. And this was the first time I saw in the notes it said, you can feel free to customize everything. We want you guys to customize, do pet portraits, do this, do that. I'm like, never have I heard this, but I love that because that's what's going to excite people more.
Yeah, yeah. Eric says, "What's your favorite white to use on shirts?"
Um, oh, it's I have a bottle right here. It's the high flow golden um, brand paint, but it has to be the high flow version because they have other. they have other bottles, but they're not intended for airbrush. But there's a high flow golden brand that has the picture of an airbrush on it, and so it's this one right here. This one's the black, but they only make black and white for this airbrush
Uh-huh.
version of the color. This, I kid you not, this black comes out black all the time. You don't have to like build it up. Most of these other airbrush paints, you have it comes out like a dark gray. And you have to go over a few times to make it black. But this rarely does it clog too. So it's such a good, fast, like it's straight to the point, and it comes out really clean too. And the white comes out nice and bright, and it sticks really well too.
I
You'll be
always thought
surprised. You'll
illustration.
Yeah, you'll be surprised because I didn't know this even existed until like maybe like a few months ago. But I was like, damn, if I would have known this about this earlier. But some of the people that we do events with, they introduced me to that, and as soon as I used it, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like, this is great.
I always thought that. I thought golden was illustration paint.
It is. So except for that's why I said make sure that when
High
you
flow.
find, yeah, make sure when you find this, these are the only two colors that they make for high flow. And you see on the top right here, it has like an airbrush picture
Okay,
right here.
okay.
So it's intended for airbrush as well. I mean, it's multi-use, but airbrush as well.
Do you do a lot of outside events?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like to do these events because a lot of times they fly you out and it's crazy. They always have these like crazy budgets for these types of events. Trips me out how just they're willing to pay for your flight, your food, and then pay you well for the hourly. It's always between 100 to 150 an hour. But if you're traveling out, sometimes it goes up to 200, and it's usually like simpler work, and it's quick, and so you're not tired,
Yeah.
and you're getting paid well, and that's it. And you don't have to be like super good at it. You just need to know how to airbrush, and they'll hire you.
Do you do any online sales? You Etsy or anything like that?
I'm going to this year. This year I'm gonna I want to do with like even if because I just started working again at this 9 to 5 that I have that is more graphic design, but I could have done this before, but I just didn't want to put too much time into it, and then it doesn't pay out, and I rely on it. So now that I'm working again, this it's a pretty it's a good place. But now that I'm working there on my off time, I do plan to do like a shop with the whole like print on demand stuff and just come up with my own designs and just like
Yeah.
put that up. But I would do that, and then I'm gonna add an extra section where they can order airbrushed clothes as well.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any other hobbies besides airbrushing?
Oh yeah, acting a fool for sure. Yeah, as much as I can. And it's crazy because yeah, it's like I don't know if it's just because of the art in general, but like I do it responsibly, but like I enjoy just taking life not too serious and just going out and just doing just and just just being you know free as much as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do have a kid now too, but so I do it less, but I mean I don't mind it. I love having a kid. But yeah, if I'm ever at a point where I have time to myself, yeah, yeah, it's just I go out and I just see out here in Vegas. A lot of times they have these like desert gatherings, and even if it's like a version of Burning Man or something, and I like to do those.
Yeah. Ed was asking about that you do um, clip art.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I was doing that because I saw in the banners that the clip art that they always use is this like 70s and 80s types of like styled clip art, and I'm just like, man, we gotta paint this like this pirate batting that looks like it's something you see in a comic book in the 70s or 80s, and I just thought like there's got to be some clip art out there that doesn't look like that. Like, why hasn't it been updated? And so one year I just thought maybe I'll sell this and see if anybody would be interested in that. And yeah, I sold quite a few of those, but yeah, they take a while to do, but yeah, I did sell like a series of it. And I
Cool.
do sell that. I do sell that on Etsy as well.
I gotta check you out. What paint do you use for shoes? That's what Ed was. That's more Ed question.
Um, I I I always forget the way it's pronounced. Is it starts with the A? It's
Oh, I
almost
know.
like it's like an
Angelus.
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 Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. That stuff is good. It's perfect for shoes. Yeah, and there's times where I'm painting it. If you use straight airbrush paint, you could scratch it and it just comes right off.
Yeah.
This Angelus paint, you could apply it, and as soon as if you once it dries, you can accidentally drop the shoe, and it's perfect. Nothing
I think that
happens.
stuff is made specifically for leather.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that stuff is good.
The what do you do with all your canvases? You still have them, or you sold them all?
I did sell them all, and one that I had that I didn't want to ever sell. I did at some point, like had to sell it. Just about maybe 2 or 3 years ago. Like um, it was a time where I lost, the job I had. It was like a 9 to 5 I had that was paying me pretty good, and and when I lost it, and it was hard to look for extra work out here in Vegas that was like gonna pay well for art. So yeah, I was in a lot of like I was going backwards a lot, and I'm like, damn, like I don't want to sell like certain things, but I mean I think I might have to. And yeah, I just it was that one that I called Burning Desire. It was the other was one of those that was that had a bunch of like flames. This girl with a lot of flames and stuff, but I called it Burning Desire. But yeah, that piece I wanted to always hold on to it and never. It was my favorite piece, so I did want to keep it forever, but I had to get rid of it. I was
Yeah,
like,
it happened. And people always say, "Oh, you can sell it. You can make another one." But like, nah,
it took me so long to do that one. I'm like,
yeah,
man, it's like,
don't want to remake it. That's
yeah,
the whole point. It's mine.
yeah, and it's weird because all artists, you do intend to draw or paint something to sell it, but that one I was just like, that's mine. I'm
Yeah,
like, I'm
it
like,
be that way, man. It's like
not anymore though. Like I'm like shit.
because that's the first thing I would say. Oh, you can make another one. Like, no, I can't. I
Yeah,
don't
it's
want to.
easy. It's well, people, yeah, they have I have noticed how like people have this perception of art. Like people that don't do art, they have a perception of it like it's a hobby and it's easy. So like anytime somebody asks me to do like a custom job and I give them a price, let's say they're like, oh, I want this canvas at this size with this on it. I'm like, oh, that's a lot of stuff. So I don't know, maybe 2,000, 3,000 bucks. They're like, oh, whoa. I think you misunderstood something. It doesn't have to be that detailed. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm like, uh, but they're thinking like, whoa, like just still make it good, but don't do too extra. I was like, whoa. I mean, I paint how I paint, but like
Yeah,
if you want me to start like not painting to my fullest potential, you might not like it. Like because you get so used to how you do things that if you lay off a little bit, it's gonna look unfinished just because that's not how you paint. So when people
you'll
start to
always see
do,
something wrong with it because you always your own worst critic too. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
so it has to be to your standards.
yeah, yeah, it helps. It helps that people allow that to happen. But once you see it, it is sincere. When people are like, because they do want to pay less, and they do feel like, you know, if you could just do less this, you can't convince them like your perspective. So you kind of do have to allow them to see it how they see it, but you have to stick to your price too and just think like, all right, well, that's on you if you want less artwork on it, but I'm still going to charge you the same price. You have to stick to it because you know, out of respect, you know, that's an important thing, that you can't let somebody tell you what you're worth, and even if you need it, you should still stick to your prices. Like just because, you know, if you feel like you've gotten to a point where you can charge what you're charging, keep it there. And if they can't get it, then they can't get it. But that is important, because if you settle, I guarantee you they're still going to ask. They're still going to point out that it doesn't look like your stuff. And they're going to make you to still, at the end, do what you were originally going to do. Because they're going to keep picking at it like, well, I think you could maybe fix this and that,
Yeah.
until it does look like what you do. Now all the detail is back on there and they just pay you less. So, yeah,
Yeah.
you got to stick to the same prices.
Yeah. You got any plans business wise this year? Like you gonna like start doing parties more, or you do it, or do you already do a lot of parties and stuff?
I'm pretty busy with parties for sure. That's why, you know, the during the week, that's what I want to do is just more of the print on demand with shirts and do like designs for that. And in airbrushing at these events is keeping me busy enough to do airbrush there. And artwork that I do at home, I mean, I always mix airbrush with also acrylics, like acrylic paintbrush, just because if you learn the two and you're working on canvases on clothes, you're never gonna use paintbrush. But on canvases, if you use the two, you're gonna see how much of an advantage it is to use both, because whatever is more difficult for airbrush but is easier for acrylics, you can use that, and then vice versa. Whatever is difficult for acrylics but easy for airbrush, you know, and it all looks the same in the end when you're done. Um,
Yeah.
if
Yeah. Darwin.
if you're using it correctly.
Darwin is the one who told me that I should
What's
interview
that?
you. Darwin is the one who told me I should interview you because
Uh,
I've been like out of pocket doing them for a while, and I was like, man, I got to get back on it. And then I
yeah,
had one, and then it fell off. I didn't do it, and then Darwin said I should interview you, so I jumped back on it. I got to do another one. And
yeah.
it said, tell us about your carpet painting.
Oh, the carpet. Now the carpet. It was really weird because like I didn't think to do that, and somebody was like, "Oh, like I had one that was a rollout carpet, like a red carpet type of thing." It was intended to be used like a red carpet. That was the first one I did, and I did a second one that was inside a house because they saw the carpet, that rollout carpet. The rollout carpet. It was some lady who does these events who wanted to use this graffiti sort of styled themed things, something that somebody could purchase as a package to make their event with this graffiti theme. And so they thought it'd be cool to do it on a carpet, and I did. I wasn't sure like how this, you know, if people step on it, like is it what's going to happen? Nobody knows anything about like, because it's not something that people do. So
Yeah,
this lady was risky enough to just say, "We'll see how it goes. Just do it, and we'll see, and I'll pay for it, and we'll see how it works out." And I did paint the whole thing. And in order to paint on it, I did have to step on it too many times. And surprisingly enough, it just didn't dirty up. I was really surprised. But I mean, I was purposely not trying to step in dirt and on the carpet, but like if I was stepping on it for a long period of time, I noticed that it stays the same. And when I did the indoors one, the one inside the house, when somebody wanted me to paint their game room, I thought, all right, for sure, I got to step outside, I got to step inside. This one's probably going to get really dirty. And the guy too, he was like, I don't care, I just want that carpet to be just like that other one you did. And that one took me about 3 weeks to get done. The carpet and the walls. And I was stepping on that carpet. Overspray is all over the place. And but I mean, I could see the dust. Like if I hit the floor, dust is coming
Yeah.
up. I had windows open and everything. But again, surprisingly enough, nothing's smudging. Nothing is smudging, and nothing was like you can't see like a footprint on a fluorescent yellow floor. Like the area that I painted fluorescent yellow. Um, I'm stepping all over that, and I'm not seeing footprints. Even if I step on it with my shoes, I'm just like, what is it about carpet? It just picks up like the dirt so well that even if you painted it, like it kind of still looks the same. I'm sure there's dirt in there, but it's not showing. And I thought that was really cool. In 3 weeks of me stepping all over it and putting a ladder in there, because I was using all kinds of tools, just throwing shit everywhere. And it looked the same from the beginning, and then at the end of the 3 weeks, everything still looked the same as the first time. It might have like dulled out a little bit, but I just sprayed a little bit more, just to enhance the color a little bit more. But yeah, there was no like nothing. It wasn't. So if anybody wants to do something like that, and you're wondering like, oh, is it gonna mess up or this or that, like I stepped on that thing so often, and it was perfectly fine.
What paint did you use?
Createx and E-Tech.
Createx?
Yeah, Createx and E-Tech.
Uh,
I mean, not because I knew that one or the other would stick. It's just once I ran out of Createx, I called Chino, and Chino actually lives, I think, in Sacramento, and that's where the guy was. He was in Sacramento, where I painted the inside of the house. Um, it was well, and just so you guys know, I didn't post that on. I didn't post that on the. This is the only place I guess I'll admit it. That carpet thing that I painted indoors, that was Michael Goddard's house. That
oh
guy
yeah.
who paints the olives. So he still remembers me from back in the day working at Action Art. And yeah, he called me up. He flew me out in on a jet to go. I'm telling you, this guy, he made it big with just the olives and stuff and the
I
martini
haven't seen
painting.
any olives in a while though, so
They're
it's
still there. They're still there. He because he sells them in like very private, like yeah, to like mostly like these elites type audience, and they still collect his work, but all his work is very expensive. But yeah, that was his place.
who
He,
would have thought, man? Olives, like
I know. It's just such an odd thing, but it works for him. And yeah, and even though he could have probably painted all that himself, he doesn't have to, if he doesn't want to. So he has the money for it, the budget for it, and he knows me. So he's like, hey, come on by and I'll fly you out and just do this for me.
oh, nice, nice. Do you have anything you want to mention I may have missed?
Oh, if you have anybody asking questions that are just tuning in about my voice, you can feel free to tell them, man, this guy is jacked up.
Yeah, because the last one was the poor paint that you
Yeah, my voice is a perfect example. If you don't wear a mask, this is what you're going to sound like.
used. They don't do that carpet paint for a while. I don't want to lose my voice.
I mean, I sound like I'm fucking crying.
Now,
But
man,
like,
when you
but
call,
no, but that's what it. Even when I go to a Starbucks drive-through and I'm like ordering, sometimes they give it to me for free and they tell me it's gonna be okay, and I'm like, I'm not crying, man. I'm like, what the hell? But it just happens so often. I'm like, holy shit! Everybody's like, oh, drink some tea or something. I'm like, I'm not sick. I'm not crying. It's just I'm messed up. It's this damn Createx got me like, I don't know. It's not that, but it's supposedly it was like, yeah, it's some neurological disorder from like 10 years ago. And once I lost the voice, it was like gone for good. I was like, oh shit. I was waiting for it to come back after a week or two. I was like, well, usually if I lose my voice, it comes back after a week. And that's why in all my posts on social media, I never talk. I'm like, nobody will take me serious. They'll just be more, they'll be distracted by the voice. I could say something cool or like, or political, and they'll be like, dude, what's up with your voice?
That when you called, I was like, huh?
Yeah,
I
no,
sounded like
everybody's
you were
like that.
hoarse or something.
Everybody's like that. Sometimes if when I'm on the phone and they don't know what I sound like, they're like, am I on speakerphone? I'm like, no, that's just my voice.
Well, you taking it well though, but I mean, it is what
I
it
mean,
is.
I mean, because I do enjoy life. I enjoy humor. I grew up around shit talking my whole life. Like it's a content. You're not gonna get away from any shit talking.
Yeah,
You're gonna get yours for sure. Everybody gets theirs, and so I it's just there's so many friends and family. We all, talk so much shit. Like we've talked enough shit about this voice that yeah, I take it well because I'm like I sound like shit. Yeah, like and I'm okay with it. Like I know it's not going to be I know I'm not like no Barry White like talking like this, but yeah, it's just it's to me, I have a sense of humor about just about anything. So like to me, it is I get it. I do think it's funny too, and but I'm not like insecure about it. I just know that I know that it sounds like shit, but like a lot of times, like if I let people know, oh no, is it like no, it's my voice. No, it's just how I talk, and they're like,
you
oh
just have to
no,
explain it all the time.
yeah. But people try to say like, oh no, you sound perfectly fine. I'm like, whatever. like they're trying to like no I didn't think you sounded different. Like I'm like I know I'm saying that I'm not saying I'm miserable or insecure. I'm just saying that because they were asking like, oh, are you okay? I'm like, no, it's just the voice. I'm like, no, you sound good. I'm like, what? Like, you could just say no. I'm just saying like that's just how I sound. I'm not really like like that. But yeah,
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm so used to it. In the beginning, I would say the first year was the hardest because I know I don't sound like this, and so this was 10 years ago, and man, it was a weird. Like when because it didn't start off like this. I was twitching whenever I tried to speak when it first started. Like so, if I even try to say one word, I would twitch so hard, like, and my head would hurt. So it was a neurological thing
neurological.
when it was first happening. And I was trying to order a coffee that when it first happened, and I walked up to the counter like any other day, and I was like, "Oh, let me get a," and I'm like, "What the fuck was that?" It was like I had Tourette's. I was like, I'm like, let me try this again. Let me order a, and I was like, "The fuck is this?" And then it started happening for like a year, and then once that stopped, I wasn't twitching anymore, but then no voice either, and I was just like, ah, shit, here we go. And I have to sound like now I have to sound like I pissed my pants everywhere I go. Like, hey guys.
Yeah. And so, all right. So after all of that, so what in your life? This is the last question. What in your life you feel most grateful for?
Oh man, like that's a great question because like if there was a different time, I would have probably had other things to maybe try and like pull out and say this that. But there's one thing right now that I feel grateful for, and that is my son. And so a lot of times you question like your past, your the things you've been through, and all the crazy stuff, all the dramatic stuff, and all the the backstabbing or anything that you consider a bad thing that you've been through in the past. But if all that stuff happened and it led me to this point, because if anything was different in the past, it could have led to something else. Like,
Yeah,
and so,
yeah,
so if every single one of those things were steps to get to this point, and for me to have the son that I have today, it kind of taught me that I never had anything to complain about ever. Never. Everything that ever happened to me, I have to be grateful for that because uh, it all ended up bringing me to a point where I met someone and she gave me this like awesome son that I enjoy my time with. Yeah, I enjoy every time we kick it. I take him out. We go everywhere, and we have a blast. And so, if I had to go through all that stuff all over again, if I knew that that was going to happen in the end, yeah, it'd be worth it. So I guess it taught me that, yeah, I never had anything to complain about because if all that led me to this, then that's a great thing.
Yeah, true story.
Yeah, yeah, it's fun. It's great being a dad. It's my first kid, and I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful that he's here. And his name is Draco.
Draco.
Yeah, Draco, Draco is pretty crazy. And the way the name was picked, none of us even thought of that name. It was just we were gonna sit down and look through names in a book. I opened the book in half, just thinking, not in half, but I just opened it. And that was the first name I saw, and I just said it out loud. I'm like, oh, look at that. I didn't know Draco was an actual name. And she was like, that's it. I'm like, what do you mean? That's it. That's his name. I'm like, whatever. I'm like, let's just add it to the, top 10 like we agreed, and then we'll just go from there. That's number one. And let's add to it. No, 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 that's it. I'm like, we just sat down. What are you talking about? I wasn't serious. I just looked in the book. I just opened it. I didn't even go to a page on purpose. And so I was like, she's got something up her sleeves. Like, I think she's going to change it to something that she's thinking about and she's not telling me. And so as soon as he's born, she's going to, oh, I changed my mind. But no, yes, she put Draco. I was like, what in the world? Like, I didn't mean to pick that, and I would have never thought of that name, and she wouldn't have either. But it's grown on me, and I like it. It's a cool name.
Oh yeah, that's cool. I never heard of a kid named Draco. So that's
Me
different.
neither. Me neither. So this is going to be trip. Everybody's going to think that's his nickname. Oh no, that's his name.
All right, man. I appreciate your time. We done made our time.
Cool. All right.
I
Yeah, I told
appreciate
you.
it, man.
Yep.
Um, yeah. I did never heard of you before. And then I started looking at some of your stuff, and then I had to start looking through all your stuff to find you. But yeah,
Yeah. I'm not like you're really the type of like I said. I grew up in Compton. I don't know anything about business. I don't know how to. I'm sure I could just a few quick YouTube videos and know how to promote all that stuff. But man, every time I look at this stuff, it puts me to sleep, and I'm just like, yeah, I guess I'll just stick to just painting for work.
yeah.
But yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I work hard on the art part, and I do enjoy the details that I put on everything, and I like to draw and create things myself. But as far as anything else, like man, like I don't know a whole lot about uh, all that other stuff. But art, yeah, I love it. I love art to this day, and I'll do it forever.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, because like I said, I saw you with Nate, and I was like, yeah, and I mentioned it, and then like I said, I talked to Darwin. Darwin said you should interview him.
Yeah,
So
even Darwin doesn't
reached
know
out.
what I say. Even Darwin doesn't know what I sound like. I've done work with him because he's assigned me. He's asked me through text if I can do an event or this and that. But I'm sure if I spoke to him too, because nobody knows what I sound like really, because I don't even post that on social media. So like I don't talk or anything like that on there. And so I'm sure if Darwin heard me too, he'd be like, who's this? Like,
Who the hell are you?
it's your boy, kinda. It sounds like a girl, but it's your boy, Daniel. Sounds like an old lady. It sounds like an old lady voice. Like,
Man,
Hey, Darwin, it's me, Daniel.
oh, Ed said he thought he saw you with Magoo too. You know
Yeah,
Magoo?
yeah, yeah. Magoo, yeah, Magoo's super dope. He's such a good guy. No, Magoo has some crazy stories too, man. That guy's really dope. Yeah, man, he's like he said something like he has a big old scar on his stomach or something. He was shot in the stomach area with a shotgun when he was younger and wasn't supposed to survive, but made it, and now he's like successful and doing all kinds of events and stuff too. But man,
Yeah,
that's such a crazy thought that he's doing so well, and somebody could have ended that if they would have just like hit him a certain way different.
yeah. The I interviewed Magoo already too. Me and
Yeah,
Magoo go way back too. Yeah.
huh? That's
So if
cool.
you
So
do some of my
you
old podcasts, you go to
huh?
some old podcasts, you'll see like a whole lot of people.
Nice.
And see, you got Darwin on there now. Say Daniel's a beast.
Yeah, yeah. No, that guy too, man. He's a beast. Oh, he's on here, Magoo.
Now Darwin's is.
Oh, Darwin. Oh, that's cool. That's
Yeah,
cool.
like I said, I interviewed that. If you go back, it's the audio ones. I think it was before I started doing the video was me and Magoo. I did Magoo.
Nice. Yeah, even Jaime Rodriguez did back when he was alive. He did like a interview with me. I was at like an airbrush, coast airbrush show or something outdoors, and Jaime was walking around doing like this sort of he had like this mic or something. He was asking people questions, artists, and he when he walked up to me, like he realized I was one of the guys that entered this skateboard contest that he had entered, and he didn't win a place, and I did. And I told him like, yeah, I don't know what's up with the judges because what Jaime did should have blown everybody else out of the. It's just the fact that he didn't get a place, I was like, man, this is weird because when I saw what he entered, I thought, oh, this guy has first place without a doubt. We were trying to fight for first place, of course. That's the whole point of entering a contest. And so we all airbrushed something crazy, and when I saw that, out of everybody's there, even better than mine, better than he had the best skateboard there, and I was just like, I told him there too. I'm like, hey man, I'm sorry that you didn't win a place, but you should have won first place. I'm like, yeah, it's weird that you didn't like that. That doesn't seem right. And so he was talking to me about that, and he was like, yeah, I think he appreciated that and all. But I'm like, yeah, but it's not. Yeah, that was weird. It was a weird.
Ed said
Oh.
you the shark board. Well, yours the shark board.
No, that was a friend of mine that I was working next to. Me and him were always very competitive. I did the one with like a zombie, sort of like the skull head popping out, like his brains were exposed. I won third place. The shark was second, and the first place was this House of Color can that was tipped over, and it was like kind of like this oozing paint coming out of it, and it was good. But I'm like, I thought this was a paint. It was like a 3D something that he just kind of like taped onto the glued
Uh,
onto the board. And I'm like, what? Like, and even the shark, I'm like, Jaime did this skull with like clouds and everything that just looked crazy. It looked like some Japanese animation type.
Ivy was really good. Ivy
Yeah,
was,
Jaime's was dope. And I'm thinking, he was probably really stressed out, and it didn't seem like he was getting the support he needed for Airbrush for him to continue doing his thing. But and that's what made it a little bit more like sad and all. But yeah, he definitely deserved that first place and to like not fall into any place. It was weird. But I made sure I told him that too. I wasn't trying to like say, oh, I got third. When I saw that I got third, and he didn't get any, I'm like, man, he should have been first. Like he had the sickest one there.
yeah, he was innovative with a lot of his stuff. The way his stuff. Daniel said he was the sweetest guy and amazingly talented.
What's that?
You know Ghost?
Ghost?
Yeah, Antolin Torres. We call him Ghost. He's a real good. He paints automotive.
I feel like I've seen him for sure. And
Yeah,
so
he
and so.
paints. He paints a lot of cars. He's out of. Ain't you in Dallas? I think that Ghost is in Dallas.
Oh, okay. Cool, cool.
Uh, yeah. Now we're getting ready to close. Everybody popping up.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
You know, it's all good. Yeah, but I mean, it's all good. Like we had, we had a lot of uh, questions answered, and but if you guys got any other questions, I'm down. I'm free. Like whatever you guys want to know.
Yeah. Y'all want some more questions? Y'all can ask some more questions. I'll keep it on. I've been working on an Iron Man helmet. I gotta finish up.
Oh, let's see it.
I normally do a lot of I do 3D printing, so I do these football teams. So it's like working on getting them all finished up.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, so I just got to finish some parts. That's what
Hmm.
I got to get back on. Uh,
Nice.
but oh, he said you give Jaime. Ed said you give him Jaime vibes.
Man, well, Jaime was, he was a dope character for sure. Man, he was one of the best airbrush artists. Man, if he was still here today, man, he would be killing it. But like he would be in charge of the fucking industry because it only looked like he was getting better and better and better. So I thought it was just sad to see him go. But yeah, at the time when he interviewed me, like I didn't know who he was because I was new to the airbrush world, but I just knew that that was his name attached to that skateboard. When he said he was Jaime, that's why I brought him back. I'm like, wait, come back. I'm like, when he was interviewing, I'm like, hey, now that I know like who you are, I was like, that skateboard was crazy. But I wish he would have continued and he would have kept himself. But it's hard sometimes. I don't want to assume like
Yeah, it
what
was a
he
weird
what he.
morning. I remember that morning. It was a weird morning when everybody was talking about it. I think.
When he was talking to me that day, he seemed like a really good.
Like everything was good to go.
Yeah, like he was easy to talk to, and he very very good human being, very good vibe I got from him, and yeah, I wish he would have just like continued on, but yeah,
Darby said, "When you coming to Texas?"
man, Texas, man, it's a long walk for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I'm down. I'm down and swing by. I see videos of his shop growing and growing. I'm like, and now they got this whole another spot where they're just like a warehouse for airbrush. I'm like, and he's doing good with airbrush for sure.
Yeah, and Daniel Powers said, "I met him and grabbed a beer at SEMA in 2010. He was so loved and really wished he got the help he needed."
Yep,
Yeah,
yep. There you go. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people felt that way too. It's just weird because like with art, a lot of times you kind of like become isolated just because to do art you have to like stay focused and you're just stuck doing this like drawing thing and it just feels very disconnected from the rest of the world, but you get connected to the spiritual side where you're in this whole like made up realm because you're doing art, you're imagining what this thing you're working on has to look like, but that image you constantly have to focus on it and be in this other world to see it, and that isolates you from the real world. And so if you're constantly like that and you don't know how to handle that, it can lead to like depression and for some people, and they so not everybody knows how to handle that. And yeah, I wish that we could have been able to like notice if he had any of those problems. I don't know if he did, but whatever it was, I heard that it was his family too, and all this stuff. And maybe I think he was like breaking up, middle of a breakup. But whatever it was, I wish we could have like pinpointed what that was, and because I don't think he realized that he had a lot of people that admired his work and him, that we would have all been there to help him out if he needed it.
yeah, yeah. I I remember him from a long time ago. Yeah, I found a bunch of messages me and him was talking back and forth. I sent them
Hmm.
to him one time.
Yeah, yeah. No, he's dope. He's a good guy. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. But that's it. And, like I'm gonna always keep airbrushing. I'm always gonna be yeah, just art in general. I like to create just random stuff too. My favorite things to draw is just made up odd like cartoon type artwork that I don't know. Like anytime I have like a wall space or like somebody's painting, I'll draw some goofy ass shit just real quick on the wall and just leave it there, and make sure I detail it enough so that they want to keep it. But it's goofy as hell, but it looks detailed. There's skill applied. So as much as somebody's like, oh, what kind of character is that? I'm like, I don't know, but detail it up enough, and it's like they want to keep it, and then I'm like, I would love to do a series of just that stuff like that. That like I did this like when Jaime interviewed me at that time. I had like this sort of like alien type of dog with these like spiked horns and like spitting out like venom. It was just something odd, but I liked stuff like that. And if I could do that, more stuff like that. But I just don't know that there's a market for that. So I would be doing all this and just like, and bills will just pile up. But
yeah. If they don't stop,
yeah, well, yeah, bills will just keep going, and I'll be like making all these like silly drawings that I like, and bills will just be like just being accumulated. But yeah, I mean, I'll find the time, and you know, I do have a series now, but I want to release it when I know like how to do it, like where I do it responsibly, business wise. But at the moment, I don't know how to do that. But I do have a series that I've done of stuff like that. I have like 150 finished drawings that
oh
are all,
yeah,
that are all detailed that nobody has ever seen except for like close friends and family, and they all like it. But they all tell me I should put it out, but I don't want to just put it out and then everybody copies it or throws it into AI and then they have their own version that's theirs, and I'm like, man, like,
that's the big scary part now.
yeah, yeah.
Because
So I'm like,
um, like for instance, like I try to I draw all the people that that's been on the podcast. It's two
mhm.
books now. This is actually the theme one, and I was looking up something, and I found that somebody was selling it. Three other people were selling it somewhere else. I'm like,
Damn.
what? How the hell did they get it off of Amazon?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it happens these days. It's crazy. I even have like, well, there's a restaurant in Tulum, Mexico, that has all my Day of the Dead art all over the restaurant. Is like based off that art that I did, and it's not like, oh, it's another version of it. No, it's just the ones that I painted. It's just those printed really big, and it's all over the restaurant. And it's a really nice, elegant restaurant in Tulum, and it's called like Mamacita. I know it doesn't sound elegant. That just sounds like hey Mamacita. But I mean, but it is. It's like a really luxurious like restaurant. It looks nice. If you guys look it up, and because I have friends that were on vacation, went out there, and they saw my art on there, and they're like, did you work with these guys to do this?" I'm like, "No," and so they asked the people that work there, like, "Hey, who does all your art?" And they were like, "Oh, we have an in-house artist that does this for us." I'm like, "What? No, that's a big old lie." I'm like, but it's in Mexico. I mean, whatever. I mean, it's all good. I like that it's out there. I don't care if I get the credit for it. I just like that it's there and I can show people. No big deal.
Yeah, but you sometimes some people want credit. You want credit for your work.
I mean, if I'm ever there, which I don't know. I mean, I don't know why I would go to Tulum. Like, I, I like trying. I mean, one day. But if I do go there, the least I'm going to be saying is like, "Hey, you're not charging me, right? Like your whole restaurant is covered in my art. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's free. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, Tuluma's is a tourist place. It's a
yeah,
nice tourist place. I'll be in not Cancun, but I'll be in Cozumel in 2 weeks.
nice.
Yeah.
Doing art out there or just vacation?
Taking a cruise for my anniversary.
Oh, nice.
Anniversary
How
cruise.
many years?
36? 36?
Damn, no, that's an accomplishment right there. That's dope. 36 years.
That's a big damn accomplishment.
Yeah, you don't hear stuff like that too often these days anymore. But if you do that, man, that's dope. You definitely have your chakras aligned for sure. Yeah, you be. I'm just saying, like you became more, a powerful person more and more because when you have somebody on the same team, just committed to you like that, like you guys actually feed each other spiritually. So,
Yeah,
so you guys only got stronger over time. So that's good. I'm happy to hear that.
appreciate it. Appreciate it. Yeah, like it's I'm almost like I'd say every time podcast, I'm almost ready to retire. I'm ready to be done with. I guess find something else to do besides airbrushing.
Man, but I'm sure there's still more artists that'll pop up that you. I mean, we got to talk your ear out. I mean, you got to keep doing this podcast so we can still keep talking about nothing. Like,
Yeah, I mean I've
just
been
keep
doing.
it going. Just keep it
Um,
going, because I mean, you got a good vibe about you too. Like you just gotta. Hey, well, just keep it going and just like uh, even if it doesn't, like art for me, even if it doesn't, let's say, do what I thought it would when I was younger, I'll still keep doing it forever. Just you're gonna feel weird when you don't do it.
yeah,
Like,
that's gonna be.
it sounds good right now, but once you stop, it's like, wait, damn it, who else is out there that I can interview?
Yeah, oh yeah. There's a couple of people I still have to do. I just go on hiatuses for a while, and then I'm like, all right, I got to get back on it.
Yeah, it's in your blood at this point. Like it's yeah, it's become a part of you too. So
Yeah,
you'll eventually have somebody on here that's like that'll have some content that'll make you viral, and at that point, you just you'll be interviewing a lot of big names out there and stuff too.
yeah. I started it. I started just in 2020 during the COVID.
Hmm.
Just started interviewing a bunch of airbrush artists.
Yep.
Yeah, so yeah.
Nice.
But all right, man, I appreciate it. Appreciate your
Yep.
time,
Yep.
and
Yep.
I'll definitely keep up with you, and I'll send you a copy of this too as well.
Okay.
I think I sent
Sounds
you
good.
a friend request on Facebook. I know I
Okay.
sent you one on Instagram as well.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, if you still have a room to edit before you send it to me, make me sound more manly too.
Put a voice changer on the front. Man, that's who you are now, so you good.
Just for fun, like for myself, I'll be like, yeah, that's what I sound like.
All right, man. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, you too. It's good chatting
All
with
right,
you.
all
All
right.
right, peace.
Thanks
Thank you.
everybody for watching.
Oh, you too. Thanks. Peace.